Okay, working on a WPC Bally Williams Corvette with the fabled check fuse 115, 114 error message. Now I know we just covered this in the prior repair, but I think this one's a little different. It's another scenario. So let's take the same procedure that we did before and test some voltages on the driver board. First thing we do is going to check fuse 115 and 114. I have to do this one first. We'll pull out 114, and if you look, get the camera to focus on it. Indeed, this camera's having a hard time focusing on it, but yeah, right there you can see the filament is indeed blown. Right there you can see it right by my thumb. So what does this mean? Well, fuses don't generally blow for no good reason. It probably means that a bridge rectifier is blown. So before I put a bridge or a new fuse in here, I would really like to check the bridge to make sure it's not shorted, because almost for sure, if this fuse is blown, this is the input fuse to that guy. It almost always means that the bridge has a short. So this guy isn't going to have any voltage either, because this is downstream. This is the first line of defense, and if we look at the schematics, we can verify that. You can see F14's right there, right before the bridge. And again, if this is blown, this guy's probably shorted. It's a really good thing. And we can do some test point voltages. We can check up here at TP8, but I suspect, since this fuse is bad, nothing's going to get there. So only between TP8 and F14, there's only this bridge is pretty much the only thing that can die. It's almost got to be that. Now, I know in our prior f114, 115 repair, we talked about this capacitor C2 and how it likes to leak. Luckily, Williams put this one in and left the leads really long. I can see underneath it that it's bright and that this capacitor has not failed. So this is probably not an issue. I know we talked about that prior, but let's get back to this BR1. Let's flip the board over and test this guy with our meter. So BR1 is right here. See the hole? There's 4 leads. So you got AC coming in and DC coming out. The positive DC lead is almost the offset one, which is the one that's in slightly different position than the other 3. So we put our black lead on that and our red lead on the 2 adjacent. And we should get between 0.4 and 0.6. And on this one, look, we get 0.5, and then I go over here, and I get nothing. 0. See that on the meter? I get 0. So that means indeed the bridge is open. Now we can also test this lead. This is the negative lead. We put our red lead on that, and then do the same test, and we should get between 0.4 and 0.6, and you can see that on one lead we do, but this leg here is giving us some weird readings, really weird readings. So indeed, this bridge is bad. Again, let's just try it one more time. Over here, you can see 0. And then if I do it over here, it's essentially 0 or 0.1. You can tell there's a capacitor in there as it's charging, but it should get a reading like that, 0.4 to 0.5. Same thing over here. You see like this is a good reading. So half of the bridge is good on this guy. Half is good, but this leg is bad. So we got to replace this whole thing, and I suspect that'll fix our problem. With the bridge removed, it might be a little easier to demonstrate the testing. Here's our 4 legs. You can see the one offset leg right there. That's the positive, and sometimes it's even marked. You look on the side of the bridge, it says plus on the side of the bridge. And then the AC. So the ACs are the 2 outside, or the 2 diagonals, and then of course this is the positive, and that means that this is the negative. So with our meter set to diode setting, if we put the black lead on the positive leg and look at the 2 adjacent legs, we should get between 0.4 and 0.6. And on one leg we do, but if we go over to this leg, look, it's basically shorted. It basically gets 0. Let me get it there to stick. Yeah, look, it's shorted. So you can see one leg is bad. When replacing the bridge, I use one of these to get all the solder out. I add new solder and then suck it out with this thing. You can use whatever tool you want. Just make sure these holes are really clear. The bridge should literally fall out. when you have it desoldered, and that's what it did in my case. If you have to pull it out or tug it out, you're probably going to rip the plated through holes that go through the board, and if you do that, then you're going to have to run jumper wires to the adjacent capacitors, and it's really easy to do, and I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to make that mistake. The other thing I do is before I solder it in, I have it bolted in place. That is, I have both the screws for this heatsink tight. That way it's positioned correctly relative to the other bridge, and then it will solder it in place. Now if you look at this one, the one I pulled out, look at the leads. They're nice, they're shiny, but they are the leads. I don't see any little copper tunnels around the leads. That means I didn't rip out the plated through holes when I took this out. Okay, so we got the board back in, new bridge, new fuse of f114. Let's turn it on and see what it does. That's a good sign. That means that it can check the switches, and we no longer have the check 114, 115 error. Let's give it a go. Looks good. Alright, we are playing good. And we have one Corvette now working. Hey!